When I say social media, what do you think of?
I think it's a place where people can connect and like explore.
I usually think about platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok.
Just like talking to friends and just if I'm like bored, something to scroll on.
Do either of you have a friend who just constantly sends them memes?
Definitely. I might be that friend.
Yep, there's no denying it. Social media is everywhere. And research shows that a lot of young people are on it every day. But do you know how old you have to be using it?
13, I think.
I think it's usually 13 and in some cases 15.
Yep, most of these sites have terms and conditions that say you have to be at least 13 years old to use them.
It's more so you start to mature at 13, you know what you're seeing and you know what is and isn't real.
I don't think that there's much thought going into the age of 13 to be like the specific number, like this is where they mature, this is where they're like finally ready for it. It's just an arbitrary number.
I feel like that's the age that most people believe that kids can like sort of take in the content on social media. They can like process it, they know what they're watching.
Those are all valid points, but the reason for the age limit is actually to comply with the US law, which stops companies from collecting and storing personal information from children under 13. That's something social media companies do pretty regularly. In fact, it's a major way they make money, by selling info to advertisers. So to protect themselves from legal trouble in the US, they've made 13 the age limit everywhere. Even though here in Australia, there's no actual law stopping younger people from using social media.
And I'm sure there's people under 12 on Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok. I'm 100% sure there is.
Some people say that's a problem. Studies have shown that being on social media can have a negative effect on your mental health, your sleep habits, and can be a distraction from more important stuff. Which is why both the South Australian government and the federal government are looking at bringing in laws to stop younger kids from using social media. SA's government wants to ban anyone under 14 and make anyone under 16 get parental consent before they can sign up.
It should not be open to governments to bury their heads in the sand and pretend that social media isn't doing our children harm when we know it is.
Meanwhile, the federal government hasn't decided on an age limit, but they say it'll most likely be between 14 and 16. If the laws are brought in, social media companies that break them would be held responsible and could even be fined for allowing people underage to use their apps. And in SA, parents could even sue the companies if their kid is harmed using an app. It's something that other countries have already tried. For example, in India, you need to be 14. And in France, you need a parent to give you consent if you are under 15. But enforcing age restrictions online isn't easy, which is why Australia's government is testing out software designed to prove your age.
We'll look at this age verification trial. We know that it's not simple and it's not easy, otherwise governments would have responded before.
Of course, some people say banning social media isn't the answer, and that if used responsibly, it has a lot of positives. So, what do you think?
I talk to my friends a lot and it's like hard when they live far away. It would be like, oh my God, I can't talk to them anymore.
They shouldn't go too extreme because it is part of our everyday lives now.
It's more so teenagers that are using it, so changing the age restriction to 16 is going to cut a lot of people out of social media, and that can really influence how popular different apps are.
Yeah, I feel like a ban probably isn't the best idea. Maybe like promoting better, like healthier social media choices and uses, because there's a lot of positives.